What's that smell?
Oh, that would be me. I've been swimming in raw sewage. I love it. I love it. That's the signal. Let's go. Do it.
Hi, welcome to Trimming the Musical Fat. I'm Stephen Nicholson. Paul and I were recently joined by Sam Wiles from the Paul McCartney podcast, Paul or Nothing. You can listen to the interview we had with Sam in our previous pod. However, we ended up talking for such a long time that we had so much good stuff that we thought we would put out this bonus episode today. In it, you'll hear a number of different topics being discussed, including the James Bond franchise, Jurassic Park, Squid Games, Paul McCartney albums, and lots more. So let's jump straight into it.
It's all just about me now, really, guys.
It is. This is the good thing about having done Marv, so to speak, the other night. It's just all you tonight, Sam.
It's a beautiful night. It's the world tonight. It's good night tonight. You know. It's
Don't say good night.
Do you need me to at any point to go? So what do you think, Marv?
No, it's fine. It's fine.
I need to get Jeffrey Giuliano back on now that he's the star of Squid Game.
That's right. Yeah, I didn't realise that. Yeah, because he lives in the Far East, doesn't he?
Yeah, he lives. Yeah. He lives somewhere that makes you question his proclivities. But I'm not going to go into that.
Yes. Yeah. If he was chocolate, he would eat himself. I think.
My God, that man did not need the ego boost of being on two of the biggest things on Netflix right now. It's ridiculous, but also it's very much just over in Thailand. They need a white actor who can read a script. Oh, he's there. He gets the job. It's not that he's a particularly good actor. Like, I don't think people in Thailand go, "Oh, did you ever see The Scorpion King 2?"
Did anyone?
Yeah, well, I know Dwayne The Rock Johnson didn't. He's not in
it. Yeah. Squid Game, how good?
That was
good
great.
Was that? Yeah.
Quite sad as well, but like really
it didn't feature the song "Squid" by McCartney though. Sadly,
I know that's one of my favourites as well.
Yeah.
I must be saving it for season 2.
Honestly, it should be the theme. And in terms of like, because when I do my housekeeping, I always play instrumental Paul.
That's right, you play that, yeah.
So Squid gets played probably once every 3 episodes minimum.
Yeah, no, it's great, and I like how you do widescreen podcasting because I think that's what McCartney did on the
Uber Jubu, yeah.
Uber Jubus, that's right, yeah.
But you have to say Jubu. You have to say it's widescreen podcasting. It's wide. Screen. And like I move to different sides of the mic because when he does it live, he pans across, and I don't have the time to do that technically, so I just physically pan across the mic. It's wide screen podcasting.
Get some exercise at the same time. That's good.
No, I mean I'm listening to Flaming Pie for the very first time really now. Over and over again. And
lucky you.
It's amazing. It's a little overrated, but it is amazing. But I can't hear Young Boy without hearing him talking about the writing of it on the Ubu Jubu segment.
That's right, because that was on the CD single.
It's one of those arbitrary set yourself a deadline kind of things. It's just about a young boy trying to find love. Like I always hear that over the top of the song now. It's very distracting. Am I the only one that thinks that they didn't pick any of the best songs for the singles from that album?
You do have a show. I mean, one, you're lucky. You're obviously getting to hear that with Fresh Years. It's one of his best solo albums. Mm-hmm. Yep, it's probably maybe a little bit too highly regarded, but it is. It's an excellent album. But yeah, Beautiful Night, great song. But you've got things like Souvenir, Little Willow.
The title track,
Flaming Pie,
that's such a radio hit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Great Day is low key one of the best on that album as well. That's so good.
Yeah,
written in the
Yeah.
70s, which I only found out recently because of the lyrics book.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't realize that because I know he recorded it in '92. Did he not? Was it 90?
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
I believe it was during the Calico Skies sessions, which was the day I
Yeah.
was born.
Oh,
Mm.
that's
Yeah,
right. I remember you mentioned that on your podcast. I think
because
yeah.
it's also the day he recorded When Winter Comes,
Mm.
Yeah, yeah.
which is mad. Like, it's very hard for me not to get a bit teary eyed and look back over my life and be like, oh God, where did it all go wrong? You know?
But the good thing and what's interesting, Sam, is that you're coming to a lot of these albums with a fresh perspective. You haven't heard them before. You've made the odd single, but
Mhm.
but for what's quite interesting for us as well is that we may have a sentimental attachment to an album, and it's maybe not regarded as one of the best. But even for me, like Flaming Pie, because I think of quite happy times when that album came out, so that kind of clouds my judgment a bit. So I think, oh yeah, that was. Whereas actually, if you listen to it, it's a great album, but it's too long.
Mm.
And Broad Street's another example. We really like Broad Street because we could remember at the time when it came out and stuff. So you do have that sentimental attachment to
So,
certain albums.
so Paul, you're saying Flaming Pie's too long. What if there was a podcast out there that trims albums that are too long?
Oh no, guys! I definitely need to get you two to come on and do one for off the ground.
Oh yeah.
For my fixing
There'd
series.
be no songs left, really.
Yeah.
Two songs.
Oh no, there's good stuff on Off the Ground.
I know.
But if I have to hear one more person say the B sides are better than the album, I am going to scream. It's just not true. It's not. As Paul said, it's not on. It's not on. It's not on.
There was a good B side. I bought the Come On People single and
Down to the River.
Down the River, which was it sounds like a wee bit of a jam type thing, but it's a good wee tune. Yeah.
I'd rather have Paul singing "Take Me to the River" during the Shabbat sessions.
Well, yeah,
down to the water.
That's true.
Yeah.
But coming back to Flaming Pie, we actually did do an episode on that back in April or May. And it was quite amusing. I think everybody on it agreed, yeah, we're going to get rid of that, and it was actually a fairly painless process. And
get rid of If You Wanna, get rid of
exactly.
Used to Be Bad.
Everybody has the same. The jamming songs, basically. Yeah.
It's mad how much acoustic guitar's on it though, and I feel like it's because he was sat in a garden with George and Ringo for a couple of weeks playing acoustic guitar, and he's just obsessed with it now.
Oh yeah,
and Jeff Lynne probably because he always puts the guitar high in the mix. Jeff Lynne, that would have had an influence.
Big time.
Yeah, why isn't Love Come Tumbling Down on the main album? That's insane. Like that's such a good pull from back in the day.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If they remake Jurassic Park, I'm literally gonna go on a murder-suicide spree. I'm sorry, I just stand. It's gonna be the worst day of my life ever.
I think they already did with Jurassic World, didn't they?
No, that's called that's what we call a soft reboot, my friend.
Adaptation.
I still remember when I was in the cinema at the Electric Cinema in Birmingham, the UK's oldest cinema, when they played Jurassic World, when it was #1 here in the UK. And the moment I heard John Williams' old, I literally burst into the second biggest amount of tears I've ever had watching a film. Second only behind The Elephant Man.
Oh yeah, there's a classic. No, I know what you mean about Jurassic World. I think when obviously the two.
I'm not a dinosaur. I'm a human being.
But yeah, the two kids get to the island and they go up and they open up the shutters to the window in their room, and that's when the full Jurassic Park theme kicks in. Glorious, yeah.
The only thing that appears to have been unaffected by the dinosaur is the genitals.
But of course.
Oh, they're never going to show a T-Rex pee in those movies, are they? Sadly.
No, not when there's
It's
people
not
you can kill.
pornographic. It's a 65 million year old creature. How disgusting can it? Oh my god! You know.
Well, we have seen its poo in Jurassic Park.
We've
so
seen Laura
that.
Dern stick her hand
Yeah,
3 feet
that's right,
into
yes.
fecal matter.
Yeah.
That would not fly in the modern Chinese box office. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no.
Also,
I can't believe it's almost 30 years old now, like 28 years
don't
old.
say that because I'm nearly
I
30
know.
years old as well.
Yeah.
If I've put them together, that could potentially be the longest podcast in history. Potentially, I mean,
It probably won't be as long as my Flowers in the Dirt Part 1 episode. I think that was coming to 4
Oh, yeah.
hours.
Is that like 3 hours?
3 hours 45.
Yeah.
Something
Wow.
like that, yeah.
That's impressive. I think our record so far is 2 hours 50 for James Bond music retrospective.
That's right, yeah.
Where do you guys stand on Die Another Day?
Oh, I'll let Paul answer first.
The best bit about it is the pre-title sequence.
Oh no! I mean the song.
Oh, the song. Okay. Not a big fan, I have to say. Not a big fan of
Same
it.
here. Same.
Low
Do you like it?
It might be in my top 3. Like,
Oh, right, okay.
I really love it. Yeah. I was, you know, I'm young enough to have still been like cracking one off to Madonna music videos when I was 12. So, you know, it still holds a very special place in my life. Like the Billie Eilish song, I thought it was crap. And then you watch it in the context of the movie.
Yep.
And you're like, this totally makes sense. Why did they release it 7 years before the film came out?
That's right,
I totally agree with you. It's like you go and see them. I ended up getting the vinyl copy. In fact, double vinyl gold version of the soundtrack before I seen the movie. And obviously that theme is interwoven throughout. And you're like, yeah, see, it's making sense now. And then you see the movie and it's like, right, okay. What did you think of the movie, Sam?
Oh, like every Bond movie, the first act is fantastic, the second act is pretty good, and the third act is a slog that you just have to kind of... I mean, I did like that Bond fucking snapped the bad guy's arm almost off. I was like, that's cool.
Yeah.
But that opening act, I mean, especially the pre-title sequence, it's up there with GoldenEye in terms of pre-title sequences. It's like a little short film.
Yep.
Yeah.
And like just... It's pure Bond. It's got just enough gadgets for the Daniel Craig era to like not be silly. Like I'm a fan of attaching miniguns to any kind of vehicle personally. But most of the movie I was just kind of going, oh my god, Leia Seydoux is so beautiful. Oh my god, Anna de Armas is so beautiful. In that kind of like I'm turning into my own dad sort of way.
Yep.
Just like nudging my friend next to me, going,
don't get me started on Anna. Oh,
I loved it.
I wish she was in it more.
But like, I remember laughing to myself and went, "What? So all of Spectre's been killed in one fell swoop of the script?"
I know. It's like after all these movies, all it took was some kind of crazy DNA busting gas or something.
Oh man, I was like, nanobots. What is this Iron Man 4? Come on.
I just thought it was a bit strange. But I agree with you. The pre-title sequence I thought was sensational. I mean, it started off like a horror movie with the flashback. Then obviously you get to the Bond stuff in Italy. And as you say, it's like a mini movie. I thought it was sensational. And I didn't think the rest of the movie held up to that. Yeah. Although I did enjoy it. I did not agree with the story choice at the end, though. Don't kill Bond. No, not down with that.
Yeah, I mean, you never know. It might just, you know, the next movie might start with, oh, Bond found a jetpack.
Wakes up in the shower.
Yeah. And you know, he's had head trauma and now he talks with a Scottish accent again.
Well, that would be excellent.
Run along, darling, man talk.
I've smacked your bum. I'm showing my supremacy.
Yeah. Do you think it's okay to slap women, Mr. Bond? Well, I don't think it's okay to do it. But
it reminds me of the joke, you know. M says I was going to Bangkok. He says I could fight as dirty as the next man. You know. It's but yeah, no, it was. I think the two plot things that were significant were obviously him having a daughter, which I was fine with, and then the death, which I wasn't. But I was kind of expecting that because I know when Danny Boyle quit the movie, that was rumored the reason why, that Daniel Craig was very set on Bond dying at the end, and Danny Boyle saying, "Well, I'm not going to do that," so that's why they parted ways. So I was kind of expecting that to happen, and unfortunately, it did.
So Danny Boyle instead, he can kill the Beatles as a cinematic franchise, but he can't kill Bond.
Yeah. So there's a moral in there somewhere. I don't know what it is.
Again, I've also rewritten Yesterday in my head as well to be a much more in-depth look at Beatles music, because I can't believe they had the gall to imply that music would have evolved the same way had the Beatles not existed. And
I know.
You can't release She Loves You in 2018. It would have to be a dubstep remix.
Yeah.
No. Very, very annoying. Oh, and they cut out the scene with Anna de Armas as well, which is the best scene in the movie. I'm like, what are you doing, Danny Boyle? She's a hot property.
I know, but still, Lily James is in it, so not all bad.
Who's going to be Pamela Anderson soon?
Yeah,
I'm very much looking forward to that.
Yeah, I think the trailer dropped today, didn't it?
Yes. I mean, it's got Seth Rogen in it, so I'm probably going to watch it.
Yeah,
and it'll be on Disney Plus as well, because it's going to be on Hulu in America. And
brilliant.
Yeah, so obviously we get Stars for free over here with Disney Plus. It's so good. You get I mean, I'm never going to watch Sons of Anarchy, but it's nice to have the option.
Yeah.
The number of people that have said it's really good watching, I just think, how many seasons is there? And
it's good, actually. Yeah, it is good. But American Horror Story is on Star as well, so that's good.
I'm deep.
I don't know if you've watched that.
I'm deep into Mad Men at the moment for the very
first
time.
My wife loves Mad Men. Yeah.
That's on my list.
It's just beautiful people being assholes. It's the best. It's so good. Again, most of the show is just me going, God damn.
Yeah.
even at the blokes, they are some slickly dressed motherfuckers. Back when you could just put some shellac through your hair and just grease it all back, and that was the height of fashion. Love it.
No, and just I think the suits and hats and all that, and
drinking midday.
Yeah, I know.
Yep, smoking.
Hold all my calls is something that I want to say before I die.
Yeah. Hold all my calls, Miss Moneypenny.
Clear my schedule. Sam, you don't have a schedule. You work at a pub.
Yeah, no. And you've got your phone on you. Oh, yes, I do. Yeah, thanks very much.
Yeah.
Hello, this is Ken Bruce in the morning, and we're going to do Podmasters now. Let's take a look. Paul, where are you from today?
Ken Bruce, how long's he been doing that show?
He's good. He's good, actually.
It's the best. It's the best quiz ever.
It's brilliant.
Yeah, I used to do that all the time, actually, at work. Yeah, I used to do that.
You just shout at the radio, don't you? It's like, no, it's not that.
My dad went on it. My dear late father went on it.
No way.
And
really,
he spoke to Ken Bruce for about 35 minutes about his joinery business. I was like, Dad, please, this is embarrassing.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
So, Bob, what do you do? It's like, well, let me take the story starts all the way back in 1962. No, I did an episode with Kit O'Toole a while back for Give My Regards to Broad Street. And for some reason, she recorded it on her end because Zoom wasn't a thing at the time. So I was using Skype and Skype was down. So I had to go and use a free thing online. And she recorded it and hosted it on her end. But for some ungodly reason, she decided to record it in her back garden.
Oh, no.
And rather than having two separate audio tracks, it was basically me cutting in whenever I spoke. So most of the pod is just... And I lost any of my unique audio due to the bad Mac that I had at the time.
Oh,
And eventually, when I had a gap that I needed filling because I was going to be busy for the week, I just released the unedited audio as is, and I just called it From the Vaults.
yeah, it's special.
Yes. No,
Yeah.
I've got. I have actually got a couple of things that I will never release publicly on my Patreon, so that's always a nice thing to advertise, you know.
Oh, keep it in reserve.
Mm-hmm.
Keep it in reserve. But the thing is, well, I think with Broad Street in itself, I know for myself and Paul, we have a very sentimental place in our heart for that particular
That's right.
album. Even though I think for most of the general
Oh
public
no,
and
it was
McCartney
mostly
fans,
it was mostly about the movie.
Ah.
The album was brought up. Like
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Not Such a Bad Boy and No Values.
Yeah.
Eleanor's Dream is low key one of my favorite McCartney's classical pieces ever.
Yep, I love that. Yep.
But for me, that whole movie is just, oh no. Oh
Yeah.
no! We're going to be in London until Boxing Day.
Boxing Day.
Yeah.
Don't go and think he'd do something like that, do you?
We've got the tapes.
Well, I remember a school disco where it must be 1984, where they actually played the dance version of No More Lonely Nights.
The play out version.
Yeah. Oh, heady times.
Yeah.
Heady times.
Talking heads are out and you're listening to No More Lonely Nights. Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
Well, we actually decided to do a commentary for Give Me Regards to Broad Street, which was still to release. But when you're watching it, you just think it just looks totally grim. It really makes London look very, very grey and dour.
Yeah, it's almost like it's a movie written by a guy who's not a screenwriter and directed by a guy who's not a cinematic director.
Yeah.
Now, what was his claim? Was it directing episodes of Sooty or something like that? That was his experience.
Sooty and Sweep.
Yeah, like he looks like he's the guy who filmed the Smash Martian adverts or the PG chimps, you know.
Oh well, he's a perfect fit, isn't he?
I'd love to rewrite Broad Street. I've already got a script for Yellow Submarine in my head. But the end of that movie it ends with the Beatles getting back together. It starts with them already having broken up.
Yeah.
And then the adventure through Pepperland is what gets them back together, and they walk into the sunshine together. But I think with Broad Street, you need to have I don't know, like a plot or something. A
story would be good.
Yeah, it'd be nice. Just like a character arc. Like maybe you have Paul coming to terms with his Beatle past. Maybe you personify that in film. You know, you have the first half only wings and solo stuff, and then there's a point at the start or the end of the second act where he starts playing Beatles songs and he starts getting back into the groove of things, and then the end of the story is like the 1989 tour or something like that. It wouldn't interest anyone at the box office, but fucking hell, Netflix has thrown more money at worse. You know what I mean?
That's very true. I think with the movie, I mean, obviously the plot of it could be written on the back of a postage stamp, but even with that being the case, you still go through it and you get to the end, and actually, the dramatic device of it is worthless because by accident he got locked in a toilet at the train station.
That's right.
Now I bet McCartney telling that to you over dinner would sound really quite charming and feel like, so the whole time, he was just locked in the toilet. But
it was like a dream. I've went more Ringo than McCartney there, but
it's like Alice in Wonderland, you know, it's just a dream. But it's like Alice in Wonderland's full of like metaphor and like real life allegory and stuff.
I know.
There's actually something going on there.
I think for me, what was interesting when I read up on it is that I think McCartney did the first draft of the script, and then the movie studio thought, oh well, this must be the finished thing, and we can't tell the great Paul McCartney that it needs a rewrite or anything. So that's what went into production, which is just bonkers.
Yeah.
I mean, it's supposed to be based on like a day in the life kind of Band on the Run type era when it was made. But like, could you imagine if Paul made in the 80s a very insensitive scene where 5 African guys mug him for the
That's right.
it's like,
Yeah, I
oh
know.
no,
Yeah.
give us the dead paw. It's like, oh god, this is bad. No, this ain't gonna fly in 20.
Don't touch him. He's Beetle Paul. Don't touch him. He's Beetle Paul.
Don't touch him. He's famous. He's famous. Oh,
Step away from the beetle.
yeah.
Don't stamp on him. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
No, but like stuff like that as well. When you kind of start, I'm really getting into my vinyl now, and I'm just discovering things like what Mexico had unique EPs of different Beatles songs. Oh no, this is going to hurt my wallet. This is really going to hurt. I've only just started getting into cassettes and CDs now. There's 6 different CD singles for Flaming Pie because there were 2 different CD issues for each single because each one has a different Ubu Jubu, and I'm like, oh god, I'm such a sucker.
Bought them all.
Oh,
and the colours are slightly different on the cover. One's like green and one's purple.
Remember that.
One's blue, but one's maroon.
Right.
One's red, but the other's blood red, or Moonlight Bay, or.
I know. I'm the same, Sam. With vinyl, I had obviously started collecting music or buying music in the 80s, and initially, it was records and cassettes, and then obviously moved on to CDs, and then downloads, and then just about 5 years ago, it's like I bought a record player again and started collecting vinyl. And obviously, it's great to get the original stuff, but they do re-release stuff, which is really hard to come by, and it just breaks your heart.
Do you know how much it is to get the Fireman, the first Fireman album, Strawberries, something Forest, Ocean Ship Forest?
How much?
You've got to sell a car to pick it up. It's ridiculous. It's like, guys, do you not know who I am?
Free stuff, please.
I need to. I've only ever gotten one free thing, and that was the Get Back book, and that's because I had to write in and beg on my hands and knees. They were going to send me a PDF copy, and I stood for the first time in my life. I stood up for myself, and I thought, no, I'm gonna write back and say, by Jove, I deserve this bloody book.
Yes. Look how much publicity I'm giving.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
If 1,000 people listen to it, 5 people might buy the book, and that's going to be an extra
covered. Yeah,
that's an extra £200 for you. You've quintupled your profits there. Come on.
There we are. Easy peasy.
I'm just really hoping, for the next archive edition to be sent to my home without me having to write in, because someone at MPL is a fan of the show and hasn't been fired for mentioning it in the office.
That would be nice, wouldn't it?
I make too many crass sex jokes. I just do. Oh, Denny, do you want to have another line before we go out? You can't look me in the computer screen right now and tell me that there wasn't mountains of coke on that Wings Over America tour. It would have been ridiculous. It would have been called Daddy's Special Snuff by Heather.
Are you trying to say, Sam, that Paul McCartney and his musician friends were taking illegal substances in the 70s?
And not even the cool hippie, not even the cool hippie ones,
Yeah.
I mean, anything he did with John, he'll admit to: LSD, Preludin, weed. But the moment he goes solo, it's like, no. Just because Jojo Lane and Jimmy McCulloch were nose deep like Scarface doesn't mean I was ever offered it. Ever. It's really
I'm a good family man. Family on tour with us.
I don't hide marijuana in my baby's nappies to cross borders or anything.
No, I've never been to prison because of it.
Yeah.
Much.
I love all the unconfirmed stuff about Paul. You cannot talk about, like, no one's ever going to ask Paul about Beatrice in an interview ever, because they're just going to get cast out onto the street. You know what I mean?
Or Heather. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Paul, did you ever do a rail off Heather's stump? Just
Wow.
Yeah, it's just like, that'll be one of the conditions. If you're doing this interview, these are the subjects you don't touch. That would be
Yeah,
it, probably.
like and things you can't bring up. Please do not tell Paul that you've already heard the Let It Be and Yesterday stories.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know.
I know, 100 million times.
Did I ever tell you that on Women and Wives I play Bill Black's upright bass? No, you didn't, Paul. No, you didn't. Please tell me again.
Oh,
Oh, and Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. It's not about Ellis. Yes, we know. We know.
I wrote
Yep.
Hey Jules for Hey Jules. You know Hey Jules?
yeah.
Really? Oh wow.
And have you heard the story of scrambled eggs in Yesterday? Yes, we have.
Yes.
Off the ground when I got that. Stephen will remember it was in the mid-90s when he was doing Paul McCartney was re-releasing all his catalogue on CD, and I'd been collecting them all, and then I got Off the Ground from John Menzies, and I remember it was probably a year after it came out, but I remember at the time it had really been slated, and I'd heard the singles, but actually the album, do you know, some of the songs are really good. There's a few that are, well, there's a couple that I think are really poor, but there's also really
Biker
good.
like an icon.
You shut your mouth. You leave
Yeah.
Biker Like an Icon alone. It's
Peace
so
in the
good.
neighborhood.
No, the best thing that I ever saw was a man who loved his wife. How is that not the most McCartney lyric ever?
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The best thing that I ever saw was a man who didn't do drugs and was faithful. Yeah.
acted like a dustbin lid.
Oh yeah.
Oh
But
no,
no-
he talks about that in the lyric book. It's like he can't
Does
let
he?
it go. He can't let it go that people don't like that lyric.
Oh,
But
Is it Cockney rhyming slang? Because I've never heard of that
Yeah.
expression before.
yeah, like can you imagine like Guy Fawkes saying dustbin lid? You know, or
Never heard of that.
Chas and Day. You know,
yeah. Was it not
Yeah.
Scouse slang or something? Dustbin lid. I don't know.
No,
But,
I don't think. I think it's London, maybe.
right. Okay. Because
Right.
it's just not a
Nobody's-
good line.
I think it's just a bad lyric, and he's trying to pretend that he meant it, and it was all.
Oh.
for anyone out there wondering, I dress to the left.
Well, that was the bonus question, so thanks for preempting that one. Yeah.
My favorite color's blue and
Favorite pizza?
pepperoni.
Oh,
yeah.
like my son's. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Should pineapple be on pizza?
About as much as Good Night should have been on the album instead of something like Not Guilty.
Okay. Thanks again to Sam for his time. We had great fun catching up with him and hope to do so again in 2022. And you can listen to Sam's podcast on all podcast providers. So, how to keep in touch with us? Well, you can check us out on our website, which is www.trimmingthemusicalfat.com. You can subscribe to the podcast and get access to exclusive bonus pods by going to anchor.fm/ttmf/subscribe. You can email us at trimthemusicalfat@gmail.com. We are on Twitter and our handle is Musical Trimming. You can join our Facebook group and you can check out our YouTube channel. So thanks for joining us today, and until next time, keep on trimming.